a folkloric hero of the Ashanti and other tribes in West Africa. He is depicted as a trickster who gets by on his wit and cunning, portrayed as a spider or a man depending on interpretation. Anansi appears in many stories, including one where he collects the people's wisdom in a gourd and attempts to hang it from a tree, but in a fit of dismay he upends it and scatters wisdom across the world. Other stories tell of how he buys the stories of the sky god on Yankapon and makes them his own. These stories are collectively called Anansi, or Spider Tales.
Hello Internet, I'm HamsterBomb.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Demonica, your Shin Megami Tensei Demon Compendium, where we look at the real-life lore that influenced the designs behind your favorite demons. The moon is waxing into its first quarter. Kim, what religious, mythological, historical, fictional, cryptozoological character or concept will we be summoning tonight? Audible gasp.
A spider.
A spider. Tsuchigumo.
One that's less spidery. Anansi.
Anansi has 8 legs.
He
and
looks
2
less
arms.
spidery in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Tsuchigumo, that's just a giant spider.
That is just dirt spider, I think it's what its translation is for Tsuchigumo. Yeah, but it's still spider. We have a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. First of all, we have the windows open yet again, and I noticed after it was too late, after the last couple episodes, I was worried and we would stop talking when like a car would go by, for instance, but you would not hear the car even if we're both dead silent. But the thing you did hear was something I didn't anticipate. Birds. So I hope it made your episode more pleasant with birds chirping and singing in the background.
We live in the Midwest. We have to take advantage of our fall spring days while they're here.
It was a horrible winter, and we know the summer's gonna be worse because here it gets crazy hot.
It wasn't last season, but the season before, it got so hot it melted the glue off of our blinds.
Yes, our blinds were actually melting and falling apart.
Yay!
Yay! So
when
when we
deal with the birds.
Yeah, so when we can, we want the windows open, please. That'd be nice. So, Kim, you know, it took a lot out of me to not play the original Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. You know, that song, you know, for our introduction. But no, instead, we already had a lot of trouble with the audio from the last episode. Since we know this is Season 2, Episode 2, we changed our theme as we said we would. And boy, it took me a long time to get a theme that would actually work and suddenly not have copyright problems for the beginning of our episode. So what happened was I tried to upload the boss battle theme from SMT3 as our music for the first episode of Season 2, and it had a copyright claim on it for some reason. I thought, okay, that's odd, because we were using SMT5 before. It was like 1 a.m. and this was going up in the morning, so I tried to quickly change it to something different. So I changed it back to our original theme, and it got claimed again as the original theme. So I went, okay, now I gotta change it to something else that's not either of those themes, because for some reason, just up to Season 2, they decided not to claim this, but now Atlas is, like, claiming that little clip we use for music is too much, and now we could get in trouble for it. So, we changed the theme to something else. Now it is a remix that Atlas has done in one of their concerts, so I guess it's not copyright claimed. But anyway, it's the battle theme from Shin Megami Tensei 3, so I still have something that's relevant.
Yeah, I got you there, Atlas. Can't copyright that.
They can.
They just didn't think about it.
Just don't tempt them. Don't remind them. So that everyone gets to be happy here and listen to relevant music instead of something that is just some fair use or AI generated garbage. I would prefer that Atlas not know this.
But at the same time, I need them to listen to our episodes and make new demons based on our recommendations.
Of course, but just don't get us in trouble for the music we're playing. There isn't anything else to play.
Insert intro here.
No, it's just Alex quietly going, Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
Why?
And then we'll get in trouble again.
You gotta keep singing less and less of the song. We're not gonna get in trouble that way.
Spider.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the episode.
Yeah, thanks. Now, there was one last thing I had to talk about, and the reason I was staying up till 1 editing this episode for Abaddon. And it wasn't just because of the music. I didn't find out about the music until I was done and ready to upload this thing. As I finished the episodes, I kind of listened to it while I am uploading it, and I could hear it sounded very different from when I was editing the episode. When I edited it, everything sounded the way you heard it when you actually got the episode finished. Good, I solved the problem. But it took me hours to get to this point. And what the problem was is in my video editing program that is making the YouTube video as well as the podcast audio, every time I blended together two clips or shortened something, say if we coughed or whatever, and I cut that part out and I blend those two parts of the clips together, if I blended over someone speaking and I was merging, mid-sentence what you were saying or what I was saying, who knows, it would randomly cut. It loudly cut, and it would make like a snap. It was awful. And it was happening constantly. Every clip I did, and I do a lot of cuts in our episodes, it was making it unbearable to listen to. So I had to stop, research what the problem was. This took hours. Figure out how I had to space everything out. Basically re-edit the entire episode. I stayed up so late, guys. I really hope you appreciate the Abaddon episode.
I feel like they appreciate that. I don't know if they understood half of what you just told them.
It was awful.
You could have just said there was an audio problem and I fixed it.
It took me a long time to fix it. I just want to make sure that I emphasize long time. And also, going forward, if there are other clips like this where maybe I didn't catch it and it was randomly cutting and making a weird stuttery noise and it's in the Spotify episode of Season 1, anywhere in Season 1, because this could have been happening, then that's the reason. I'm sorry. Going forward, it shouldn't be a thing. I know how to solve it from here on, but it shouldn't be happening in my program in the first place, but here we are. Anyway, that was housekeeping, unless Kim has something to say.
Maybe we just need to fast forward that part. I wanted to talk about my weird synchronicity that happened earlier this week. We're going to a bookstore. I go to the discount section and I happen to see Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman. I've never heard of this book. And it was like, hey, discount like $3 if you want it. And I'm like, that's so weird. We're talking about Anansi this week.
And there's no way you'd be able to read that on time.
Right.
We got an extra week in order to make these episodes for season 2. Like, all of them are big episodes. So it's not enough time.
I still haven't finished the novel that I was reading our last vacation. So
you need another vacation so you can read your...
So it takes me a year. But also another weird thing, and I don't know if this is really as much synchronicity or as just I found it weird. I was listening to one of my podcasts and they had mentioned one of the demons' names. It was Zitzi Metal.
Oh, Zitzimetal. Yeah,
So
we'll eventually have an episode.
I got to learn a little bit about that demon because I didn't know much about it.
Is it not a her?
It's a species.
Oh, that's strange.
And apparently they want to eat all the humans, so.
Oh, that's definitely not the way that it works in SMT5.
Yeah, so it was just really interesting to get to hear about that demon, but we haven't covered that one yet. But I'm really interested in learning about it because I think its design is pretty cool.
It is really cool,
and
we will cover it eventually.
I don't think it's in this season. It's
no.
Aztec. It wasn't really housekeeping, but I wanted to share that information about my random synchronicities this week.
Yeah, there's also a neat book for Anansi, like specifically Anansi, like really nice, like gilded edges with the gold and, nice looking books that we saw for Anansi specifically at this bookstore we go to. And I see it, I'm like, we don't have enough time for that, but that would really be the perfect research. Kim, you sure you don't want to like skim the table of contents or something?
I know, it just seems like, and maybe it's just because I am looking for the names, but whenever we have an episode, I seem to see those demons a lot more often than commonplace, out and about.
Yeah, you gloss over it when, it doesn't mean anything to you, and then suddenly when it means something to you, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere, except for McCoy.
Except for McCoy, he's nowhere even when you look. And Gary McCullough. Now with that, all of that out of the way, what do we first think of when we hear the name Anansi? Well, I didn't grow up in Africa, so absolutely nothing. Nothing except for Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance.
Which is crazy that you haven't heard about Anansi until SMT. Insane. And we'll get to that in like our cultural context section of my section.
Is this like a Fion McCool level? Like, should have been here?
Absolutely.
This giant character?
Absolutely. Especially here in Western cultures. For me, I saw the Anansi design. Now, I feel like I've heard the name off and on, so I was also kind of in that same boat. I didn't really know much about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the name off and on, but I didn't really know anything about the demons.
So let's first talk about Anansi as he appears in SMT. Is this a he for sure?
Oh, so I did want to mention that as well. For the sake of our podcast, we're going to refer to Anansi as he, but Anansi is technically a gender fluid character, but we're going to use the pronouns he, him.
Right, because in SMT, Anansi is male.
Right, and I think in all of the stories I have, it's a he, him, so.
Oh, okay, then.
I couldn't find an example. I don't know if it's just interchangeable, and it could be she, her, and whatever. But he has a wife, so
I wouldn't think she, her at any point. I would rather think, occasionally a they, them, if it is a deity at some point in the stories, sure.
I had just read a lot of times that it can be considered gender fluid. And I think it's because you look at a spider and that's kind of gender fluid.
I don't know. Have you seen a pregnant spider? There's this one time my dad saw a giant pregnant spider and he got himself a pool noodle and he went chasing it and whacking that thing and 1,000 little baby spiders came crawling out everywhere and he was screaming and running on the tip of his toes out there and getting into the backyard. Man, it was, gosh darn, I live close to Kentucky.
I need to translate. There was a giant spider. He hit it and he ran.
He hit the spider, and the spider exploded into millions of baby spiders. That's relevant to Anansi. Anyway.
As long as we're talking about spiders, I think we're pretty relevant.
As I mentioned before, Anansi only appears once in the series, and only in the Vengeance expansion of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Don't hold it against Anansi, he's just new around here. And honestly, now that I know about him, I wish he was around longer. We don't have enough African representation in this series. Being a modern demon, Anansi has a detailed design for us to break down. Anansi is a dark-skinned man sitting cross-legged with his arms open wide. His arms and legs are decorated in golden jewelry. In his right hand, he holds a staff with some sort of red and gold butt plug-shaped motif on top. Kim is the one who said it looked like a butt plug, and I had to keep it in the
what
script.
I thought it was. Now I think it might be a representation of the gourd, as you talked about in the opening.
Oh, the gourd that holds the stories,
Yeah.
or something like that? Yeah.
Something like that.
That was the first time I was reading it, and I was reading it like, what is going on?
Maybe you should read it before we go live.
Yeah, you don't want...
The demon voice to... What?
So whatever this thing is, Anansi also wears the same design on his head like a hat.
Oh, the butt plug?
Yeah, the butt plug. I am so sorry to the Africans who think of me as a dumb, uncultured American. You're absolutely right, and he's wearing a butt plug on his head.
Yeah, 100%. You can make fun of me for it. He was like, what would you say that is? And I'm like, it's a butt plug. Like, did not take a pause, did not sit there and think about it. That's what it was.
So the correct thing to do, instead of insulting us, is to tell us what it actually is, if this is anything, if it is supposed to be the gourd, but it looks a little too ribbed to be the gourd.
Please educate us.
Yes, I want to know. I don't want to insult. But at the same time, saying butt plug is funny. His hair is golden yellow as he wears earrings and red hair ribbons. Oh, and by the way, he's also kind of a spider. Anansi has 6 eyes. Each one is a spooky black with white pupils. And across his body are 6 additional legs that wrap around him in a closed fashion, except for the bottom 2 that actually keep him standing.
They're like normal human legs down there, right?
Kind of, but the knees go the other direction. Yeah. These spider legs are patterned in black and white, while his actual shorts he wears are red and yellow. It's like the African garb of half of Anansi is styled in gold and red, and the spider half is in black and white. These spider legs aren't humanoid at all, as they all come to points, but they're definitely wrapped in fabric. The top 2 pairs wrap around him, and at first might fool you into looking like scarves or something. But when Anansi does his unique attack, what comes after 4, he rises up into the air and the 6 extra legs all unfurl while he casts dark magic with his staff. It's a cool unique attack that I really hope Kim can explain for us in the lore as to what actually comes after 4 and why it's his unique attack.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a whole story. It's gonna be so much fun.
She's got an answer! Yay! I had to clue her in that this was the attack.
Okay, so funny story. I also did not read your intro blurb before doing this.
And you're getting on me for not reading
And
it.
I actually managed to cover every single story that you mentioned in that blurb.
Perfect. We're going to get to hear about those.
Total coincidence.
Well, what is good about that is I don't really want because I know Anansi, just like Fiamakul, has tons of stories out there. And I would prefer that we kind of complete a package together. You know, give us a nice taste of things, but don't leave us with questions. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable.
I'm trying to, but it's only 3 stories out of, like, the 500.
Oh, I'm not asking you. I'm just saying, like, if I am a listener to this show, I don't want to be left with questions. You know, it's kind of the thing we're going for.
I will at least answer the 3 things that were talked about so
Excellent. And what comes after 4?
That is one of the stories.
It's 5.
He's gonna say that every time I'm reading the story.
It took me that long to make that horrible joke. I am a dad, after all. So, Kim, would you like to guess Anansi's alignment?
I'm gonna go with Chaos Light.
Anansi is light neutral aligned.
Okay.
All right, so you're close.
I can see that. Definitely light. Feels like it should be more on the chaos side, but whatever.
Knowing him in this story, I would have probably guessed chaos as well.
Really?
Yeah, I would have guessed Chaos based on how he acts in the game, but we'll get there. I will tell you the story of him. So he is a member of the Genma race. Being a rare member of Gemma means that his unique Magatsui skill is Luck. This is the best one in the game for finishing bosses and high-yield encounters by doubling XP and tripling Maka gains so long as combat ends on the turn that Luck is cast. It is amazing and thrilling to go for, and Kim won't do it.
Never do Luck.
Do Luck every single chance you get.
Nope.
Luck is so good.
Just punch it.
Once you taste that sweet doubly XP after a boss fight, you're gonna do it every time.
I don't trust when you give me advice in that game anymore.
Yeah, Kim tried to go for Luck at one point, and it screwed up in a way that I couldn't anticipate. Like, she missed or something. It was not my fault. And
You've
now
gotten me killed so many times trying to do this.
in ways that were not my fault.
I don't listen anymore. I don't. Just trust my personal instincts, which is heal and crit.
Yeah, using the Omagatoki critical hit turn instead of Luck. Sure, that lets you win dynamically, but wouldn't you rather win and have a boatload of XP and money?
No, I'd rather just not lose.
Maybe don't get in that situation. Anansi's best stat is his magic, followed by his luck. His worst stat is his strength, and this applies for both his boss fight as well as Anansi as a demon on your party. Anansi is weak to fire, blocks ice, and resists dark. I gotta say it, every time we cover a demon who's only appeared once, but this feels really uncomfortable being so definitive about a demon. But he only appeared the one time, so I can literally just read his stats and be like, this is Anansi.
I'm just gonna read the fan page now.
We can also be definite about his moves. His unique attack is what comes after 4, which disappointingly is just Mudo, but costs 20 MP. It looks really cool though, as Anansi rises into the air, unfurls the spider legs, casting dark black orbs over his head, and then sends them all towards the foe in a flurry. It is a really cool looking attack, but it's just Mudo. Now, it might have a higher chance of insta-kill or something like that. It has to be something better than Mudo. Mudo costs 15, and what comes after 4 costs 20.
So why give him that name of that unique attack, then, if it's not going to be really all that different than Mudo?
It might have a really high chance at insta-kill, and Mudo doesn't. So that might be what's going on. I don't know. You know how Alice has...
Die for me?
Die for me, that's it. And Die for me has an extremely high chance at insta-kill. So if you don't block or resist dark, you're probably dead.
Okay, yeah, a Die for me is fantastic.
and what comes after 4 is likely the same way. For this episode, I wasn't prepared to go to my game, get an Anansi. I'm deep in Godborn right now. I don't have space on my party to switch Anansi.
Why didn't you just look up the stats?
I did, and it just says that it says it's a weak dark type attack with chance of insta-kill to one foe. That's Mudo. You know, that's all it is. So the only thing that I can say is maybe they're not telling me the percentage of the kill, and that's why it's actually a good move. And otherwise, there's no reason to cast one comes after 4, other than it is cool looking. He also knows Boofadine, heavy ice to 1, Macajammin, chance of seal to all, Fire Block, nulls a fire attack for all allies for 1 turn, and remember, this is Anansi's weakness, so that's very good. Life Aid, recovers some HP after each encounter, and lastly, Mamudoon is heavy dark damage to all with insta-kill chance. Why would you have a weak one that hits 1 when you have Mamudoon that is heavy to all? See what I'm saying here?
Because
what comes
you
after
have
4 has to be good.
One enemy and you have no SP left. This is the reason.
Fine. MP.
MP, sorry.
Depending on the
What game is SP? Is Persona SP?
Yes, it's SP and Persona, but Anansi has only been in SMT5 Vengeance, so MP.
MP.
Anansi is a special fusion requiring Dionysus, Toth, and Tsuchigumo. It's a spider.
It's a spider.
Not sure if there's any lore reason behind this other than, you're combining a spider with, you might be getting the personality of Dionysus and the bookkeeping lore of Toth. I think I just solved this for you, Kim. What do you think?
Well, I remember you asked me this before, and you were like, why Tsuchigumo? And I was like, because it's a spider.
Yeah.
Dionysus, I guess, kind of...
the god of wine and orgies.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was thinking Narcissus at first, but I don't know. I didn't read all 500-something stories.
Goodness.
I don't know if that's an actual number, guys. I'm just pulling that on my butt.
His ability is Wisdom Unleashed, which provides a slight MP gain to all allies when using his Magatsuhi skill Luck, making it even easier to end the turn in a blaze of glory. Luckily, Anansi has an interesting story inclusion in Vengeance. You know, the only game he shows up in.
Well,
and
that's good.
It is one of my favorite quest lines in the game, honestly. Anansi appears in Shinagawa, arguing with his father, the demon Onyankopan. Upon approaching the two bickering, you'll first overhear the reason behind their argument. It seems that Anansi has been in talks with Abdiel, the Archangel, with the intention of creating an African branch of Bethel, the Unified Forces of Law in SMT. For example, some of these other forces are the Greeks led by Zeus and the Norse led by Odin. Anansi believes that the best way to unify the divided cultures of Africa would be to form a united branch of Bethel. Onyankopan, however, sternly disagrees, and being Anansi's father, the branch can't be created without his express permission. His reasoning is that if it is their fate to be forgotten, then it should come to pass, and as the keeper of tales, it is his duty not to alter the course of fate. But Anansi is greatly distressed by the invasive colonialism and subjugation of the African people that destroyed the cultures and folktales. This is what leads him to push for uniting Africa under one formal group to fight against their fate. Kim, who do you personally think you would side with in this argument? Because the entire point of the argument in the game is to side with one of them, and neither is objectively correct.
So I do also want to state this as we're going along. Onyankopan isn't actually just Anansi's father. Onyankopan is the god of everything in Africa. He is the almighty god like Zeus or Odin. So he is on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about that. And then
So
look
it
at the
would make
design.
So,
But
so that would make sense then, instead of Loki going to Bethel and trying to say, hey, I want to have a Norse division, and they say, no, it needs to be Odin,
right.
and Odin doesn't want it. So that's basically what's happening.
Yeah. So that's kind of the same deal. I'm partial just knowing from the stories now that I've read about Onyankopan. I would rather side with Anansi, but I also just don't like Bethel, so...
Yeah. Oh yeah, I hate Bethel too. Like, siding with, doing anything for Bethel and law-aligned stuff in SMT5 feels gross, because they hold your hand and force you to do a bunch of stuff for them already, and they're awful. But at the same time, just looking at what they're doing, Anansi wants to unite Africa because of what's happened to their cultures. So remember, as we spoke about in episode 1 of season 1, these demons gain their power based on how many people currently believe in them, and that gives them strength. But Africa has been taken over, split into pieces, people have literally been shipped to other countries as slaves, and the folktales and culture has slowly dissolved over time. And Anansi wants to bring everybody back together again and create this African branch of Bethel. I know it's fictitious, but he's talking about a real thing.
Right.
Onyankopan, being the keeper of tales, is saying, but this is what's naturally happening to us. We need to let this happen. We shouldn't be intervening in our own story.
So, in a story that I will read later, Onyankopan comes off as a very selfish character.
That's so weird.
So,
It's not how he plays in the game.
It's really hard to take a side with either of them. I want to go with Onyankopan because I don't like Bethel, but I want to go with Anansi because I like Anansi.
Anansi's kind of doing this for protection.
Yeah.
You know, he's not doing it because he believes that Bethel is right. This is like a different group of Bethel. And during the story, Bethel kind of falls apart anyway, so that doesn't matter.
So I know we're just talking like gameplay and story-wise, but you were talking about how like Africa shipped people to other countries and things like that.
Africa didn't do it.
I mean,
Every
Africa
other
did
freaking
not
country
do
did
it, obviously, but I would almost argue that that makes the demons more well-known because we would not have known them in the West had that not happened.
In Africa, the actual continent of Africa is what I believe he's talking about, and saying that here, like, these people who deeply believed in us are gone, and new people have come in their place. They believe different things. There were priests coming in trying to change people's religions and cultures, and
it's always the Catholics.
It's I didn't say that, but it's always diluting what used to be there, and them as demons can feel their power waning, and that's why he feels like they don't have a fair seat when they should have a fair seat here in Bethel.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah,
so they should.
They should. That's what Anansi is arguing.
So I think I would go with Anansi, even if I hate Bethel and Abdiel.
That is
all of
what
them.
I have done each time until I needed
and
to
that
get Onyankopan.
piece of cardboard, but whatever.
Ugh, Algami. Or are you talking about the other piece of cardboard?
Tsukiyomi. God of the moon.
God of the
sun.
Yeah, try dodging this.
Hey, have you played SMT Sun and Moon?
SMT Sun and Moon. I am so glad that Shin Megami Tensei doesn't release, like Pokemon, a red version and a blue version of stuff.
No, they just
they did it for Demi-Kids.
No, they just release an incomplete version and then release the complete version later.
Here's Persona 5. You waited so long for this. Oh, it's a shame. Now you got to play the complete version. And
although
you start over.
Would argue that most of the time Atlas has a very complete game with their first release.
Yeah.
And usually the second one is just adding more content to that, but it's still really scummy. And I almost want to call it like Monster Hunter, but Monster Hunter's worse because they literally cut half of the content and then release it later.
Yes, that's awful. And, it's just modern video games and the way they do things because
it's horrible.
SMT 1, 2, and 3 are not like this.
Yeah, I know. And now we're going to start getting AI slop video games, so that's going to be awful.
Yeah, that's unrelated, but anyway.
Spiders! See, I made it related.
Spiders. Unrelated sloppy AI spiders. That's exactly what we need. AI would mess up how many eyes and legs.
Oh yeah, I was going to say it's going to have like 7 legs. But then like 20 eyeballs. It's going to make no sense.
So anyway, back to the actual story at hand. I agreed with Anansi. Even though this does mean going against the natural flow of time, I want to see the cultural history preserved, and because of this, I voted that we covered Anansi over Onyankopon in this episode, by the way. So back to that argument that we overheard between these two, because remember, you're walking up and you hear an argument. For the record, we don't hear all the details that I went over at this moment, but I just decided to lay it all out and for the sake of understanding the argument, because you get it piecemeal as you go through the story later. So we wanted to make sure that we understood the argument first. We'll get to the gameplay in just a moment.
I'm glad you're telling me all this because I'm slowly stopping reading the dialogue in this game.
I told you from the beginning you could just skip the dialogue in SMT5. It's terrible.
I wanted to get back to my roots of video gaming, JRPG, talk to everybody, leave no stone unturned.
Then you should have played 4.
I will.
But the gameplay in 5 is admittedly a lot better than 4. So, anyway, to settle this argument, Onyankopon proposes that there be a competition between the Nahabino and Anansi to see who can slay the most basilisks before the next full moon. The victor will decide whether they join Bethel or not. But soon after agreeing to the challenge, Anansi pulls the protagonist aside and decides to throw the competition. Anansi marks the locations of all nearby basilisks on the map to help the Nahabino slay more basilisks than he can. He admits to be playing a trick on his father and hopes to join Bethel after all. So no matter how many basilisks you slay, Anansi always slays one less than you and you win the competition. But you do get rewarded based on how many you were able to kill before the full moon. So what's this trick Anansi is playing? Well, after conceding defeat, Anansi mourns and dramatizes his failure. Onyankopon, while consoling his son, slips that maybe they can still join Bethel after all in hopes of cheering him up. Anansi immediately switches gears and laughs as he's finally gained his father's blessing. Onyankopon, however, was prepared for his son's trickery and immediately restrains him with a group of Nyami Nyami, which is a demon that I know nothing about. It just looks like a fishing lure to me.
So, interesting fact I found while I was researching, Onyankopon's other name is Name. So I got really confused and I thought Onyankopon was going to be Name Nami, and I got really confused. Nyami. It's spelled like that, but with an E instead. It's his other name for Onyankopon, and it's only one Name.
That has to be a coincidence then.
Thought it was weird, and it got me confused.
Anyway, we'll have to save whatever the heck those things are for their own episode. Onyankopon apologizes for his son's behavior, claiming that he does this sort of thing all the time. After he leaves, a Nyami Nyami remains, allowing us to retake the Basilisk slaying quest for more rewards. Now, the next time we see Anansi, it will be in Chiyoda if we're playing on Canon of Creation, or Shinjuku if you're playing on Canon of Vengeance. Anansi admits to you that he has stolen something very important from his father, containing the spiritual power of the Ashanti people. Kim, it is time for your quiz question. What does Anansi steal from Onyankopon? A. The rainbow loincloth. B. The enlightened underpants. Or C. The golden stool.
I hope you don't mean poop. Can you read them again, please?
The rainbow loincloth. The enlightened underpants.
I can't stop laughing.
I had fun with my quiz questions this week. And the golden stool.
Don't make fun of me. I'm going with the enlightened underpants.
I really wish it was the enlightened underpants. No, I'm sorry. The answer is C, the golden stool.
Okay, in my defense, if you've seen some of the answers you can give in Persona, Enlightened Underpants fits perfectly with their, like, answers to questions.
It sounds like something that you would get out of a vending machine in SMT5 where, like, they're like, you don't have to make a model of this and you can name it anything you want. Like, Xenoblade does this too.
Oh my
Where they just
God.
name things and they're like, this is in your inventory.
Just don't read the names in Xenoblade. Everything is disgusting.
Or just really weird and uncomfortable. But yes, it is unfortunately not the Enlightened Underpants.
Yeah, but you say stool and I think it's poop, so I'm gonna go with golden poop.
I'm pretty sure it is. I imagine it looks exactly like Hetsu's golden poop you get in Breath of the Wild for getting all the Korok seeds. Something no sane person has ever done.
Yeah, but it could also just be like a chair.
It could be a chair. I don't know.
English language, gosh darn it.
So unless I'm grossly misinterpreting this, and by stool they actually mean chair, see it's in my script, Anansi just stole a handful of golden feces.
Yeah, I'm going with the poop.
I think it's poop.
What was it, Sukamon? I'm just thinking of Sukamon.
Oh yeah, the Digimon that is
Yeah.
golden poop. Yeah, I think
he's
that's
yellow,
what he stole.
but
Sure.
I think there's probably a gold version of him.
There probably is. He then implores you to challenge and defeat his father on Yankopon to ensure that nothing else can stand in his way of fulfilling his plan to unify Africa under Bethel. If you go through with this and defeat on Yankopon, which is actually quite difficult by the way, and we will save it for his own episode.
I mean, I just told you, he's like Zeus or Odin, so...
He plays like it.
Yeah.
Anansi will thank you and join your party. Conversely, if you sided with Onyankopon, you will be tasked with defeating Anansi, where you will face him as a boss, and Onyankopon will join you instead. Regardless, this is an interesting conflict between two fields of ideology contemplating the real-world fate of the fading African cultures over time due to outside invading forces dividing their nation. The real question is, why did it take us so long to finally see these demons in Shin Megami Tensei?
I have some thoughts on that. I'll get to it later.
Is it because this game's made by the Japanese and they just don't know?
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
It's an East versus West thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They're here now, and I'm glad to hear that. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we will dive into the lore of Anansi. Did you know we have an Etsy shop where we make handmade perler bead art of classic video game sprites, including Shin Megami Tensei demons?
You don't say.
Yeah, I've said it before.
Wow.
This is the first time in the season, though. If you want to add one to your collection, head over to HamsterBombStudios.etsy.com, and just for our podcast listeners, use the code Demonica10 for 10% off your order. And we do commissions. Pick your favorite demon, make it happen.
Alex just wants to make more demons.
I do!
He wants to have an excuse. I haven't even ironed the last one that you made.
So, yeah, order more, please, so I get to make more of them. Anyway, back to the show. And we're back with more Demonica. Now it is time to ask the question, Kim, who or what is Anansi?
Anansi is an African Caribbean trickster god and cultural hero who embodies cunning and resourcefulness, whose appearance is that of a spider. He's known for giving humans the gift of stories.
Did you say African Caribbean?
Correct.
That's two very different places. So I guess he's just managed to take his stories all the way across the ocean?
He has been traced back to folklore in the Caribbean too, so yeah, I guess so.
How old is it? We'll get there, I'm sure, but wow.
Unfortunately, not as old as I want him to be.
Oh, so he was brought there against his will. I see.
Anansi, or Anansi, I've seen it spelled with an E at the end versus an I.
Are we sure it's pronounced like that?
No.
Okay.
But the most popular spelling is Anansi. So.
Okay, we'll just go with that.
Anansi is a beloved figure in the African community. His stories were passed down through oral tradition, and it wasn't until the 19th century did his stories start to be written down. So we're pretty fuzzy here on when Anansi was started and created, and scholars are guessing around 1000 AD.
Okay, I'm a little disappointed there, Anansi. I thought you were a lot older.
I know, right?
That's just when he was written down?
Written down was the 19th century, and then we believe oral tradition started around 1000.
Oh, geez, that's so recent.
I know! It's crazy, but we're almost guessing at this point. I don't know how scholars are determining this, but I guess I will trust them.
We should. We're not scholars.
Absolutely not. I'm just regurgitating what the internet has told me.
We play video games.
His stories originate in West Africa near Ghana from the Akan people during the Asante or Ashanti Empire,
Okay.
where they spoke Twi language, where the name Anansi directly translates to spider.
So his name is just literally Spider.
Spider! Anansi is known for being a trickster, and one of his attributes is shapeshifting. His most common appearance is that of a man, woman, or rabbit, with his natural form being a spider.
Okay, so his base form is the spider, and it's him shapeshifting into the human form.
Correct.
Mm.
Anansi also has a wife, Aso.
What does that translate to?
Didn't look it up.
Immediately the first thing I asked. Come on. What is the spider married to? I gotta know. According to Google's AI, in Twi, Aso literally means ear.
All right, that's great. I'm glad I didn't look that up.
That should have been my quiz question, man. Ear. I'm making fun of his wife. This is already off to a bad start.
Bad. She's also known to be more intelligent than him and also devises the plots of his stories. She's also a shapeshifter. Into an ear. I don't know.
Into an ear. To like what different kinds of ears?
Anansi and Aso had 6 sons together. Okay. And you guys are gonna love these names.
Yeah, spiders do love impregnating ears. Especially when you sleep.
Pop quiz time.
Okay.
I know I've already mentioned these names to you, but I know you've forgotten them, so...
I've already forgotten. I don't even know what she's talking about.
So, out of these 3 names, which of these is not one of his sons' names?
All right, which one is not one of his sons?
Okay, we have Ground Pillow, we have Desert Seeker, and Animal Skinner.
Desert Seeker.
Correct, that is not one of his sons.
The other 2 were stupid, and they had to be right.
So, all 6 sons, I didn't want to spend the time, I should say, looking for the correct Twi names. But, and I apologize if it's not pronounced Twi. I've heard Twi, though, before.
Okay.
Twi? No, I've heard Twi. I feel like I've heard it like that. Anyway, the full names of all of his sons. We have Trouble Seer. He sees trouble from far distances. I just want you to know that.
Uh-oh, that looks like...
We have...
So he's just like a Western middle-aged man. It doesn't look good over there. He's just looking at his neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
I see they rented an RV, and I see problems starting with that. Those people are gonna be issues. You think they're dealing drugs?
This is gonna be like this for all of these names, because we have 6 to get through.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We have Road Builder.
Well, at least somebody's doing it.
River Drinker.
Ew! You know what happens in the river? The fish pee there.
Yeah, but he's known for causing droughts because he drinks the rivers.
Oh my god.
Animal Skinner.
Yeah, that guy I would stay away from. It reminds me of Sakahagi from SMT3. You know, the guy who, like, skins the mannequins and rips their faces off and covers his whole body in their faces. Yeah, that's gross.
We have Rock Thrower.
What a charming lad.
And the last one, which I have mentioned is my favorite, Ground Pillow.
What did he do to deserve that?
I guess everything that he can lay on becomes as soft as a pillow.
What are the terrible superpower that is? Can you imagine you like go to a genie and he's like, I can grant you any power you wish. And you're like, man, I'm so tired. I wish wherever I laid down it was really, really comfortable. And the genie's like, okay, man. I hereby dub you Ground Pillow.
This just reminds me of another story called the Yule Lads. They have just as ridiculous names like Pot Licker, Hair Shaver, or something like that. I hope I'll get to talk to him about some point, but I haven't gotten to talk about any of the Yuletide Christmassy demons for my recommendations.
We'll get there, I know.
Like our Demonica He-Ho-Ho.
Well, I'm saving that for a recommendation myself, but I guess I can let them know really quickly. I had a perfect idea for Santa Claus as a demon, because Santa's never been in SMT for some reason, even though he falls under the category of demon. But anyway, like, my idea was just take Jack Frost, dress him up like Santa, and call him He-Ho-Ho-Ho.
He-Ho-Ho-Ho.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Back to spiders.
Back to spiders.
And all those sons, which are spiders, I guess. I'm not sure. I didn't look that much into them. They're not in the games. They're not relevant to us right now. I did double check. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure they're not in SMT.
Can we have Ground Pillow in SMT?
I really want Ground Pillow in SMT.
He has a high chance of
I wonder what his
sleep.
actual name sounds like, because like Anansi sounds really cool, but also the word spider doesn't sound that bad either, so I can
if he was added as Spider, that would still be fine, but
I'd be fine with it.
I would think a little twice about somebody named Ground Pillow, though.
Anansi has also been accredited with the creation of the sun, the moon, stars, and planets. Some say he brought writing, agriculture, and hunting to the earth so humans could take care of themselves.
He basically did it all.
Yeah, and I assume that he did that alongside Anyankapon, because Anyankapon's like the almighty creator god.
And he did it really recently, too. I'm finding that really weird. 1000 AD is when they're coming up with his creator story?
No, well, that's when they're starting to talk about it.
Sure, but if that's the oldest we can trace him to, think of how many other creator stories existed by this point that had to have gone to
I know, but
Africa.
sure, they've already started to tell this creator story, but they could have been back at the beginning of time when he created all of these things. I don't know.
What happened to all the Egyptian stuff that was way older?
That's also in Africa?
And also in Africa. That's what I'm saying.
These stories are so prominent in the African American culture. You find a lot of these stories yourself in children's books at your local libraries, too. So I love that. I love that you can just go to your local library and you can find an Anansi story.
A kid's book.
A kid's book.
I remember you looking this up at our library and proving it that, yes, there are Anansi stories there, but, do you know, generally what these are like? What are they about?
Well, we're going to talk and read through the stories.
Oh, so they're just versions of his stories, but
Correct.
for kids.
And then,
Hans Christian Andersen, but, Mother Gooseified.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the very last one that I'm reading is one I took straight from one of the storybooks, so...
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, since it's so prominent in the African American culture, we are going to have to talk about the transatlantic slave trade starting in the early 16th century. But, we've already mentioned it a little bit, but anybody who's kind of sensitive to that topic, maybe you can cut out, but we're going to talk about the slave trade a little bit.
It's kind of what happened and why Anansi ended up in the Caribbean, I assume.
In the Caribbean and in America.
Yeah.
Anansi's stories during this time became about adaptive survival and how he used cunning deceit to outsmart stronger characters. He became a strong symbol of resistance to fight against oppressive powers like the slave owners. Now, on to the story that we've all been waiting for.
What comes after 4? I don't know, there's a lot of stuff I want to hear about.
The story is called Anansi and the Yam Hills.
Okay.
This is quoted directly from the Mythos fan page on Anansi. And this is almost like a shortened version of it, or I've just seen other people elaborate and make a longer version of it.
Okay.
Or a more kid-friendly version of it. Heard that too.
This is a more kid-friendly version?
Oh, no.
Okay. We don't want any of that around here.
I when I first started researching, I found the kid-friendly one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I kept trying to look it up and I was like, oh, that's not the actual story. Okay. Once the land was ruled by a witch named Five.
Okay.
Five declared that no one was allowed to say the word five or else they would be killed. Now it was time of famine in the land, so Anansi came up with a plan to get food for his family. He planted 5 yam hills and waited for someone to come along. Presently, guinea fowl passed by Anansi's house and Anansi said, "Excuse me, I can't count very well. How many yam hills do I have?" So the guinea fowl sat down and said, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the one I'm sitting on. Anansi became upset and shouted, "You don't know how to count, try again." So guinea fowl said, "How should I count then?" And Anansi shouted, "I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and dropped down dead, and the guinea fowl ate him.
Oh. This is so... Wait, you're joking.
No. So I've heard the more kid-friendly versions of the stories is that the witch curses the land. Anybody who says the number 5 falls asleep. And so Anansi goes around and tricks all the people or animals into saying the number 5 and he steals their food.
Okay, but the real version, he's trying to trick another animal into saying the number 5. He's such a doofus that he doesn't realize that he got tricked into saying 5 himself.
Okay, they did say his wife's a lot smarter than he is.
It doesn't mean he's an idiot.
And then I just love that the final line, and the guinea fowl ate him.
Yeah, that's...
Done.
Oh, and by the way, then he got eaten.
So the idea was he was trying to kill the guinea fowl so then his family could eat.
Is this like South Park? Can he die multiple times, or is this the canonical death of Anansi?
And I know it's not the canonical death of Anansi. From my understanding, he has also written the stories that go through. So I'm not sure. Like, it was kind of a fine line between this is the mythos and these are the stories that he wrote about himself.
Oh man, that is weird.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
there's
real
no
weird.
other mythology or culture that does that.
Yeah, it's very strange because, as I had mentioned earlier, Aso would come up with the plots for some of his stories.
So she came up with a plot where her husband can't count to 5, keels over dead, and gets eaten by, what was it again?
A guinea fowl.
A guinea fowl. Yeah, I don't think she likes him very much.
Nobody knows what a guinea fowl is. It's a small bird.
But still, like, some wife, like, oh, I've got a great story about you, honey. I came up with it. You can't count to number 5, and you need to ask a guinea fowl for help. And then when it tricks you into trying to trick it, it eats you and you die. How about you tell that one to your kids? Ground Pillow will love it.
I told you, the kid-friendly version, everyone falls asleep. I don't think he gets eaten by a guinea fowl.
It feels like this should have become like a whole Wizard of Oz thing, like a giant story of trying to stop this witch. But that's it?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Are you happy to know what comes after 4? Because it's just the number 5.
It is 5. I was right.
And death.
I knew it. Okay, well, I knew that as well. It was a Mudo.
So my idea is he's saying 1, 2, 3, 4 and hoping his enemy will just say 5.
Yeah, right, by casting it, what comes after 4, and the enemy, like me, being an imbecile, just goes 5, and you die.
And then you die. So as we mentioned before, there are so many stories. It's going to be very similar to our Fiamma Cool episode. So I do want to just get at least that one out of the way first. We got 2 more stories that we can go over, and I picked some of the more popular ones, and luckily I guessed right with the ones they talk about in SMT.
Good.
And the next story is probably the most popular one. This is Anansi and the Sky God stories. And I'm going to summarize it to the best of my abilities because it is a much longer story.
Okay.
In this story, Anansi lives amongst humans, and he likes to use his clever tricks to make their lives better. So...
Okay. Oh, that dirty little stinking Anansi. It sounds like a sitcom.
Anansi is always seen as this resourceful but deceitful, but always on the side of the humans kind of character.
So light. Yeah, I can see that.
One day he saw that the humans had seemed sad and had nothing to make their lives joyful. Then he remembered that in the palace of Anyankapan, the sky god and creator of all things, there were things called stories. He owned all the stories in the world, and he must have plenty to share. Anansi decided that the humans must have stories to make them happy, so he traveled to the Sky Palace.
Is Anyankapan his father in this story?
Anyankapan is just the creator of all things.
Is he ever his father?
He's never mentioned as his father. He is
SMT did that?
He is just the creator of all things. So I guess in the same way that Zeus
I see.
Is the father.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, no,
Zeus
is a bad example.
Zeus impregnates everyone, so that's not, I see what you meant though. Like people say in Catholic religion, God is the father, even though he's not your biological father. It's because he's supposed to be a creator. So okay, so Anyankapan. So then the Nahabino should be calling him father as well, to be respectful.
Sure.
He should also be calling a lot of other characters father. Wait, if everything exists all at once.
So Anyankapan welcomed Anansi from his throne. He asked Anansi if he wanted to hear another story. Anansi then pleaded his case that the humans needed stories to give them hope. Anyankapan thought that this was a foolish question. How could Anansi expect him to share the stories? But he did not want to appear a selfish god. Anyankapan gave Anansi permission to share the stories, but only after he completed 4 impossible tasks.
Of course.
As always. That's like a bingo card situation.
Yeah.
Anansi must capture Mboro, the deadly hornet's worm, Onini, the killer python, Osebo, the stealthy leopard, and Umtosha, the mischievous fairy.
He must capture these 4 creatures.
He must capture them. This is not a kill quest, this is a capture quest.
Oh, great. So you fail it if you kill it? Excellent.
Anyankapan expected Anansi to give up, but he declared, "Humans will have your story soon, and they will tell the most of them about me."
All right.
That's his declaration, okay?
I understand.
Anansi returned to the earth to consult his wife about achieving the tasks, and she agreed to help him, and they came up with a plan for each, because His wife is the smart one. Remember
Yes,
that.
I remember, and the very condescending one as well.
First, he tricks the Hornets, because the Hornets are the first one. Also, I'm not saying their names again. I'm just referring to them as the animal creatures
Yeah,
that
go
they
ahead.
are.
It's fine. I heard that, and I was like, woof. I'm not saying that.
But honestly, the African names and the Twee names, so much easier to pronounce than Scotland or
Oh, yeah.
Irish or whatever. First, he tricks the Hornets into a gourd he had by claiming that it was raining and the only safe place to go was in his gourd. So he poured water on himself to make sure it looked like it was raining, and then they quickly took shelter in the gourd.
Okay.
These are really dumb Hornets.
Well, Anansi's not so smart himself, but I'm just amazed that it worked.
Next, he knew that the python was very vain, and he told the python that his wife didn't think he was the longest creature in the world. The python had laid himself out on a very long stick to prove that he was the longest, and Anansi claimed that he kept curling at the ends, so he would tie him down to the stick to make sure you straightened him out. Well, now he's stuck on a stick, so we got a gourd and a stick.
Okay, great.
Anansi knew that the leopard was going to be very tricky, since he was stealthy and silent. Surely the leopard would attack and kill him. So Anansi laid out what I would refer to as a Team Rocket style pit, where it's a hole and
It
leaves
put
are
some
covered.
leaves on top.
See, everybody knew what I was talking about.
That they somehow can dig in a matter of seconds while they see Ash and company
Absolutely.
walking down the
That
path.
is exactly what Anansi did. He sat close by it, and sure enough, the leopard fell in trying to attack him. He fell for the Team Rocket trap.
Meowth, that's right.
I don't know how he captures him after that, but he's captured.
He puts the
He
leaves
is
back
captured.
on top.
And lastly, Anansi had to trick the fairy. Sounds a little harder than the rest
Yeah,
of them, to be
that
honest.
is the trickster.
So he created a little doll, the same size as the fairy, and covered it in sticky sap. And in the lap, he placed a bowl of yams. The fairy came and asked the doll for some yams, but when the doll didn't respond, she became angry and slapped it, and her hand got stuck in the sap. Naturally, she became angry and continued to fight the doll and became absolutely stuck to the doll.
The best part is Anansi predicted that this would happen.
I know!
Never mind, fairies in African culture are so stupid. Because I just imagine SMT Pixie getting mad at basically like a potato, and she's like, hey, I want some of them, and just slaps it, gets stuck to it, and keeps swatting it, and she's stuck like flypaper.
You know, it's funnier if you imagine it's Tatiana instead. Or Titania. I'm
Titania?
sorry.
Titania.
Titania. We did look this up.
Mm-hmm.
That's funnier to me.
Or Oberon. It's like some of the, what are the big
Give me some yams!
Give me your yams.
Anansi then returned to Anyankapan with his captives. I
So
don't
he-
know
he
how he
got
got
them
the
out.
leopard.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got the leopard out there.
Well, the thing he fell in was actually a basket, and then he tied it to his big Meowth head balloon.
Okay.
And he flew back to Anyankapan.
In the sky. We're
In
good.
the sky, yeah.
All comes together. The Sky God was upset, but a deal was a deal. Anyankapan told Anansi that the humans would be eternally grateful that he brought them stories, and from this day forward, humans will call great tales spider stories. Anansi bowed his head in gratitude and brought the stories to the humans. Also, because of the story, I wanted to side with him for the Bethel situation.
Because he should be the one canonically
He
outsmarting
is the
Anyankapan.
cultural hero, yes.
Yeah.
And I will share one more story.
Okay.
This one we will directly quote from, as it is shorter than the last one. The story is called Anansi in the Pot of Wisdom from the Storybooks Canada website. So Alex, can you read this one? Because I'm tired of saying Anyankapan.
I am tired of saying Anyankapan too, but I guess I have to do this now. Long, long ago, people didn't know anything. What a start of a story. That's literally what it said.
Dick.
They didn't know anything.
Well, they didn't know stories either.
It's just so funny. I'm sorry. I try not to interject in the middle when I'm reading it, but I just couldn't say that out loud.
See, this is better if you read it because you could interrupt yourself just fine.
Oh, anyway. They didn't know how to plant crops, or how to weave cloth, or how to make iron tools. The god, Anyankapan, up in the sky, had all the wisdom of the world. He kept it safe in a clay pot. One day, Anyankapan decided that he would give the pot of wisdom to Anansi. Every time Anansi looked in the clay pot, he learned something new. It was so exciting. Greedy, Anansi thought, I'll keep the pot safe at the top of a tall tree, then I can have it all to myself. He spun a long thread, wound it round the clay pot, and tied it to his stomach. He began to climb the tree, but it was hard climbing the tree with the pot bumping him in the knees all the time. All the time Anansi's young son had been standing at the bottom of the tree watching. He said, "Wouldn't it be easier to climb if you tied the pot to your back instead?" Anansi tried tying the clay pot full of wisdom to his back, and it really was a lot easier. In no time he reached the top of the tree, but then he stopped and thought, "I'm supposed to be the one with all the wisdom, and here my son was cleverer than me." Anansi was so angry about this that he threw the clay pot down out of the tree. It smashed into pieces on the ground. The wisdom was free for everyone to share, and that is how people learn to farm, to weave cloth, to make iron tools, and all of the other things that people know how to do. Anansi is a moron. He's such a moron.
I also want you to know, in like all the children's books, he's usually just a spider with a little hat.
Like a little African style hat,
Yeah.
like the zigzags and the yellow, red,
Yeah.
and green kind of.
Yeah.
The
He's a
motif
little
going on.
African hat.
That's
very
great.
cute. As always, I encourage anyone to look up these stories for themselves. Since this story came straight out of a storybook, it's a perfect segue into what Anansi is doing today.
Yeah, apparently this is what he's doing.
Anansi is alive and well with new storybooks being published every day. Or every year, or whatever.
So this is like Curious George.
Yes!
It's like he's been around a long time. We get books all the time, and they're all canon.
Yeah, he's the god of stories to most, and there are several novels featuring Anansi, just like the other day when I was mentioning the Anansi Boys, published in 2005, so pretty recent. He also shows up pretty frequently in the Marvel and DC universes. The Justice League fights him in a volume from 1985, and in 2003 he becomes a character in the Static Shock universe
Okay.
and fights his leopard villain, Osobo.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
On the Marvel side, he makes an appearance in Thor in 1988 and in Spider-Man in 2002.
Spider-Man's the one that I was hoping for.
Yeah, and
So
he is
what happens
very
there?
big in like I think he's like a universe weaver or something like that. He has some interdimensional ability to travel between things. I didn't look into it too much because in most of these things he just shows up as a villain, but I don't think he is in Spider-Man. In Thor, he's just a giant spider, I'm pretty sure.
I see.
Anansi makes a few other appearances on TV other than just in Static Shock. You have to look up this character because it's really silly looking.
The Static Shock one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Hat Man.
I don't know why he has a giant hat, but
Yeah,
he does.
it's just a guy. What's the big deal?
So he also appears in shows like Gargoyles from 1994.
I remember that show.
He's a villain. And in 1995, he joined the Sesame Street team
What?
during the animated sections of the show to tell African stories.
Oh, that's actually really cute.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
little spider. I was really hoping for a Muppet, but
Oh, it's
It's
not
okay.
a puppet?
no, it's the animated sequences they have in between
yeah,
things.
they used to do that on old Sesame Street, but that's still really cute.
Yes, so how have we not noticed Anansi?
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Again, in 2015, he became a villain in a very popular TV show, The Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. I don't know if you've heard of that, but huge fan base. Very big show. Just last year, in 2025, he was referenced in Doctor Who, but not an alien. Well, I think he was an alien or he's a god or something. He was just referenced, so
Okay.
I just wanted to point that out. He is still here in 2025.
But it seems children's books is the way to actually
Children's
find
books.
him.
Unfortunately, in gaming is where his influence drops off like significantly. Only being used in a few games of no particular note, and I believe this is because African culture is more prominent in the West than it is in the East.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, really unfortunate. We have no video game representation other than SMT, really.
He could have his own game series.
He could! He absolutely could! So, I was a little disappointed in that, but I kind of understand why. It's because culturally, I could imagine that's much more difficult to look up in Japan, you know?
Yeah. The fact that there's characters like Anansi out there that have yet to appear in Shin Megami Tensei, and Vengeance added Fionn McCool as well. And when we researched him, as well as Anansi, we're both leaving it like, why on earth was this taking so long to add this character? how many more of those do we not know about just because we live in the West? Or
Right.
people don't know about in Japan who are working at Atlas because they live in Japan? How many more huge characters are there around the world that are just not being represented at all?
I know, it's really crazy. Because me just reading those, he is so ingrained, I feel like, in Western culture. Like, he just shows up all the time. Like, you were even saying, like, yeah, there's just a book of him at the bookstore.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of children's
Multiples,
books.
yeah.
So I was excited to learn more about Anansi. I think it's crazy they took until SMT5, but, you know, I kind of understand it. And even though I didn't know much about Anansi to begin with, I can see his huge cultural hero and is way more popular than you and I thought he was.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Well, I kind of just covered that, but I am really happy to have him here. I really like his quest line that they added in SMT5. It works with the story, but also it kind of justifies why the African demons weren't here for so long. And we only get, like, those 3, I think, in SMT5. We get Nyami Nyami, Onyankopan, and Anansi. There should be so much more.
Did my stories help answer questions?
Before this, we started, I expected him to be like a Loki kind of trickster character, but apparently no, he's playing for a different team. He's definitely on the light end of things, but he's also a complete moron.
But he's cunning.
He's a cunning moron. He's the most dangerous kind of moron.
But he knows where things lie. Ask your wife if you need help.
Yes.
He's very aware of this.
Ask your
wife
very
is the
condescending
leader
wife.
of the head. She is the head of the household. You listen to her.
We probably have an abusive relationship anyway if these are the stories she's coming up with. And then your son was the one who told you, oh, how about you tie it to your back, you idiot,
Okay,
and
I
crawl
still
think...
think-
up the tree. And he went, oh yeah, this is so much easier. Wait a second. That means I'm not the wisest in the story. And he grabs and throws the pot and shatters it. And then humanity has all of the answers to their questions.
But he liked helping humanity to begin with, so I don't know
Yeah,
why
I
he was that
can't
concerned about that.
follow any of his, like, there's no...
Logic.
Yeah, there's like no logic to his stories at all. Like, he read multiples and like I'm still just like, things happen technically, yeah, but like I guess they're supposed to be seen as creation stories, but like what's the purpose of the 5 one? Like what
5.
what good does that do? Did someone just like come up with an anecdote and it's just someone's grandparents' story that they told for some reason? And I don't know, it doesn't teach you a lesson. It doesn't do anything.
Funny.
It is just funny. But anyway, I enjoyed him before and I enjoy him now. So be sure to tune into the next episode where we will summon a new demon from America. Let us know your favorite demon from America and what you thought of this episode. We would love to hear from you. You can find me online at HamsterBomb on YouTube, where I host a long list of Let's Plays, reviews, and live streams, and Kim is very excited for the next episode. Thank you all so much for listening. Take care not to let the demons possess you while you sleep. And we will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.